Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Auntie Tay. If you guys are new here, that's who I am. And if you're not, welcome back. And you are watching a new series called Extreme TAYkover Room Edition. And Michael from Mr. Crafty Pants' YouTube channel and MrCraftyPants.com is using his Cricut to make over his bathroom using all different types of vinyl from shopAuntieTay.com. I am so excited. Make sure to check out his channel and leave a comment telling him how much you love him so that if we want to have him back on my channel, we know that you guys love him, which I already know you're going to love him so much. So take it away.
Hey, I'm Michael from the Mr. Crafty Pants YouTube channel and MrCraftyPants.com, where I show you how to quickly and easily start mastering your Cricut cutting machine. And this is episode 1 of Extreme TAYkover Room Edition, a brand new 5-episode series where I am taking over Auntie Tay's channel and transforming this, let's just be real, this boring, depressing, and flat out ugly bathroom into a space that is cool, trendy, and stylish. Oh, by the way, doing that all with the Cricut cutting machine while staying on budget and keeping it renter friendly. I mean, what more could you ask for? In each episode, I will be transforming a different area of this bathroom with a different type of vinyl. So for today's projects, I am using Orichal's 651 permanent vinyl. Now, some of you all may know this just as permanent vinyl or outdoor vinyl or just simply 651. But the reason I absolutely love this type of vinyl is that it has a super strong adhesive. It's literally engineered to withstand all types of weather when outdoors. You can apply it to nearly any hard, smooth surface, and it's super affordable. So for today's projects, which I am so excited about, we are using Orichal's 651 vinyl to custom make a super trendy sign, an elevated soap tray, a custom soap dispenser, and for our shower, a custom set of matching dispensers for our shampoo, conditioner, body wash, or facial cleanser. In each episode, we'll be tackling bigger and better projects, and y'all, trust me, you do not want to miss a thing. I promise you that. It's gonna be so good. So if you are new around here, be sure that you stamp that subscribe button to subscribe to Auntie Tay's channel and ring that bell for all the notifications so that you don't have to miss a single episode in this series, or for that matter, any of Auntie Tay's videos, because let's be real, they're all amazing. And while you're at it, if you want to see more extreme Cricut makeovers, then don't forget to head over and subscribe to my channel just by simply searching for Mr. Crafty Pants Cricut tutorials here on YouTube, or by clicking that link down in the description box below. And now, without further ado, let's head upstairs and let's get crafty. Alright, so it is my own personal opinion that it's sometimes the smallest little details, those small little changes that you make in a room that can really add up and make some of the biggest impacts. The best thing about that is it's usually pretty inexpensive, if not free, to make those changes. So what we are starting out with today is customizing this soap canister or soap dispenser, whatever you want to call it, as well as some of these amber glass bottles right here to go in the shower for shampoo, conditioner, body wash, face cleanser, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and jump into Cricut Design Space right now, and I'll show you how we're going to customize these. Okay, so here we are in Cricut Design Space, and the first thing that I want to do is come over here to the left-hand side of the page and click on Shapes. And then I'm going to click on Square. So now what I want to do is just right-click it and then click on Duplicate, just like that. Now what I want to do with this second square is actually just make it a little bit smaller than that first square. And just so you can see it a little bit better, what I'm going to do is come up here to the top of the canvas, click on this color swatch, and change the color of that second square. Let's change it to red. There we go. Okay, so now you can really see the differences in size here. So what I want to do is click and drag over both squares, and then come up here towards the top of the canvas and click on Align, and then just scroll down here and select Center. And that just really ensures that that smaller square is perfectly centered inside of the larger square. Now while they are both still selected, what I want to do is come down here towards the bottom left hand corner and select Slice. And what Slice does is just really act like a cookie cutter of sorts. So what I want to do is now click on this red square, move it out of the way. I can even click on Delete. And now as you can see, there's a smaller square inside of that, which is the byproduct of slicing it. Now we don't need that, so I'm gonna go ahead and click this red X right here. And now we're just left with this frame of sorts, which is what I was wanting to go for. Now what I'm planning on doing with this is turning it more into a rectangular shape and applying it to the side of our amber glass dispensers. But first what we need to figure out is how large we can make that rectangle on this dispenser. So to do that, I am just grabbing our measuring tape right here and we'll figure out how large we can make that rectangle. So for these smaller amber glass bottles, what it looks like is the max height that we can get out of our decal is about 3¼ inches. And as far as the width, I'm looking at about 2½ inches for the max width. Now, as far as the larger amber glass soap dispenser, what I'm looking at here is probably a maximum height of around 4 inches or so, with a width around 3 inches. So I am coming back over here to Cricut Design Space, and what I'm doing is coming up here towards the top of the canvas, right here where it says size, and I am gonna unlock this padlock right here. Now what that padlock does is it locks in the proportions of whatever shape or text or image that you have selected. Now since we're wanting to give our square different dimensions or different proportions, we definitely needed to unlock that first before we did so. But now since that is unlocked, I can come over here to width and I can change that out to 2½ inches by just typing in 2.5 and then clicking enter. Now I can come over here to height and change that out to 3¼ inches by just typing in 3.25 and then clicking enter. So now that we have the proportions set for our smaller amber glass soap dispensers, what I can do now is go ahead and lock that padlock back to make sure that it keeps those same proportions now. So now all there really is left to do to it is to add our text inside of this rectangle. Now there is a specific type of font that I am wanting to use, and that can be found on AuntieTay.com with her Craft Day membership. So now I'm just gonna head over to AuntieTay.com. So real quick, what I'm going to do is pop into this members tab right here. And I'm going to click right here where it says become a member. And this right here is what I really wanted to point out to you guys. Her Craft Day Creators membership for her SVGs and whatnot, it starts out at only $8 a month, which is just insanely affordable. Like, I can't even. Like, that literally gives you access to hundreds of fonts and thousands of SVG files. Like, it's such a remarkable deal. If you're not a member, what are you doing with your life? Not only that, but you also get 20% off all of shopAuntieTay.com when you're a member. I mean, this could literally pay for itself. It's genius, it's remarkable, and I just love her for it. So I'm gonna come back up here towards the top of the page, and I'm gonna click on SVGs and cut files. Okay, so I'm just gonna scroll down here just a little bit and click on fonts. And what I wanna do is click on installed fonts right here. I wanna click on this image above where it says installed fonts. And as you can see, there are literally hundreds of fonts available. All kinds of fonts, dingbats. And for those who may not know, what a dingbat is a font that portrays itself as an image. So if you download one of those fonts like dingbats, you really have access to so many more images just in the style of that font. It's kind of cool, right? But I do have a specific font in mind that I'm wanting to use for today's project. So I'm just gonna keep on scrolling and come down here to where it says Honey Badger. Here we go right here. I absolutely love this font, you guys. Now to download it, it is super simple. All you need to do is come up here towards the top right hand corner of the screen where this little download icon is. Click on that and then click on direct download. Then all you need to do is open up that file and then click on install font. Now that is with me using a Mac, so that may look a little bit different if you're using a PC. Okay, so here we are back in Cricut Design Space, and if you did just now download that font, what you will need to do is go ahead and close out of Cricut Design Space and then relaunch it for Cricut Design Space to kind of go through, refresh its font, and pull that new font in. So what I want to do is come over here to the left hand side of the page and click on text, and let's type in body wash in all caps. There we go. But let's come up here towards the top of the canvas right here where it says font. Click on that, and then I'm gonna come over here towards the top right hand corner of this drop down box. Click on system. For those who may not know, what the system category is basically all of the fonts that you own or have like downloaded onto your computer already. They're basically fonts that are not owned by Cricut. But now that the system tab is selected, what I can do is just click the search bar right here and then type in Honey Badger. There we go. And just that easily, it changed my font to that Honey Badger font. So what I want to do is click on this little rotate tool right here that's at the top right hand corner of this text box, and then just rotate it to the side just like this, where it is standing up on its end. So obviously I will definitely need to downsize this text some, and I can do that by clicking this little resize handle right here at the bottom left or at the bottom right hand corner, and then just drag that inwards until it's the right size that you're wanting. Okay, so I'm really liking how that's looking. So what I want to do is just click and drag over both that square and that text, and then come back up here towards the top of the canvas and click Align again, and then just scroll down here and select Center. It really makes sure that whatever you're trying to line up is just centered perfectly, which I appreciate. Okay, so there we go. Our first one is done, or at least partially done, but I want to duplicate this for our shampoo, our conditioner, our facial cleanser, all that good stuff. So what I want to do is right click it, and I can come down here and click on duplicate, or I literally could just copy and paste it with Command C, Command V, or Control C, Control V if you're on a PC. Okay, so there we go. I can move that over here to the side, and I'm just going to keep on duplicating this until we have 4 total. Okay, so for this first decal right here, we have our body wash. For the second decal right here, I'm just going to double click it right where the text is, and I'm going to change that body wash to shampoo. Let me go ahead and click and drag over that rectangle and that text, come back up here to Align, and then just scroll down here and select Center. Now for this third decal, what I'm going to do is just double click that text again, and this time I'm going to change that to conditioner. Okay, so as you can see, this word is just a little bit too long. So what I can do is just click on that word and then grab this little resize handle right here at the bottom right hand corner of that word, and then just drag that in a little bit to shrink it down. Just something like that should work. And now I can click and drag over both that rectangle and that word, and again come up here to align those. Okay, so for our last one, I'm just going to double click this, and this is going to be for our facial cleanser, but I'm just going to type in here cleanser, and then just align those as well. Each of these 4 decals have 2 elements to them, right? They have this rectangle, and then they have the font or the text inside of that rectangle. But what we want to do is fuse those 2 elements together to make them one. So how I'm going to do that is just by simply clicking and dragging over that rectangle and that text, then coming down here towards the bottom right hand corner, and I'm going to select attach. I'm now going to come over here to the second decal and do the same thing. And then again for this conditioner decal. And lastly for this cleanser decal. There we go. And what that does is just make sure that each of these decals are cut out exactly how they're seen right here. They'll be cut out just like this with the text inside of these rectangles just the way that we want them. Okay, so these dispensers are done, but we still need to do this larger amber glass dispenser, don't we? Now I want to do this one just a little bit different, and I'm going to show you how. I'm going to come back over here to the left hand side of the page and click on shapes, and I'm going to open up another square. Just going to move that down out of the way just a little bit, and I'm going to come up here towards the top of the canvas where it says size, and you guessed it, first thing I'm going to do is unlock those proportions just like that. Now whenever we measured earlier, we said that the max height we would want on that soap dispenser would be about 4 inches and the max width about 3 inches. So that is exactly what I'm going to change these dimensions to right here. I'm going to click on the height right here and then change that to 4. And I'm going to come over here to the left a little bit where it says width and change that to 3. And then just click on enter. There we go. And since those proportions are where we want them to be, I'm going to go ahead and lock that little padlock back to lock those proportions in. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this rectangle by right clicking it and then coming down here and clicking on duplicate. And just like we did before, I'm going to take the little resize handle right here at the bottom right hand corner of the shape and then just drag that in just a little bit to just shrink it a little bit smaller than this larger square. Now just to be sure that you all can see that clearly, I will change that color again by coming up here towards the top of the canvas, clicking on that color swatch, and let's just change that to red again. Okay, so I definitely want to make that a little bit smaller than it is right now. Okay, so right about there should work. Now what I want to do is click and drag over both of those rectangles, and you guessed it, come back up here to align, and then just scroll down here and select center. And while those are both still selected, I'm going to come back down here towards the bottom right hand corner and click on slice. I can move this out of the way. And here is a smaller slice of that rectangle right here. Now I do want to make this just a little bit smaller, and I'll show you why here in just a second. So I'm grabbing that resize handle and then just dragging that in a little bit further and seeing how that looks right here inside of that rectangle. All right, I like that. I think that looks good. So what I want to do is click and drag over both of them and then just align those again. And what I want to do is permanently weld or fuse these two shapes together as one. Basically, they'll be like one image, okay? And to do that, I'm gonna come down here towards the bottom right-hand corner and select weld, just like that. I'm gonna come back over here to the left-hand side of the canvas and select text. And this time, I'm gonna just type in soap, I guess. I'm gonna grab this little rotate handle up here at the top right-hand corner of the text. Rotate that to the side, just until you get it where you want it. And I'm gonna make that a little bit bigger by grabbing this little resize handle and then just dragging it outwards, just like that. I am now gonna click and drag over that rectangular shape and that text, come back up here towards the top of the canvas and align those. And while they're both still selected, I'm gonna come back down here towards the bottom right-hand corner and I'm gonna select slice. I can go ahead and click and drag over this right here and delete that out. And there is our label for our soap dispenser. Now I am going to cut all these decals out onto white Oracal 651 permanent vinyl that I did get at shopauntietay.com. If you're planning on ordering any from her, which I do highly recommend, you can use my code, which is Crafty, and that'll save you 10% off on your entire order. But since we are cutting out all these decals onto white vinyl, just to make it a little less confusing on everyone, what I want to do is just click and drag over all of these decals, just like so, and then come up here towards the top left-hand corner of the canvas, click on this little color swatch, and then come down here and click on white. Just that easy. Now I want to come over here to the top right-hand corner of the screen and click on Make It. Now I am using my Cricut Maker for today's project, but you can absolutely do the same project with your Cricut Explore Air 2 or even your Cricut Joy if you have one. For my material, I'm going to come over here and click on Browse All Materials. If you're doing your project on a Cricut Explore Air 2, all you need to do is just turn your dial over to Custom and you'll have this menu populate. Now for materials, I'm just going to type in Premium and I'm going to select Premium Vinyl. What I absolutely love about Oracal 651 permanent vinyl is that it's totally safe for outdoor use. Like, this stuff will last basically forever in my own personal opinion. But the reason I'm using this for my soap dispensers and for my shampoo, conditioner, all that good stuff is because it's obviously water resistant at the same time. So this should last a very, very long time. So what I'm doing is just flipping my mat over and peeling the mat away from the vinyl instead of the other way around. And that just really helps prevent any damage from occurring to your vinyl. I'm just grabbing my scissors and I'm going to trim off all of the vinyl that does not have any cuts on it and save that for a future project. Okay, so as far as weeding goes, what I'm doing is just picking at a corner of the vinyl until I can get a little flap to lift up, and then just carefully and slowly pulling that back. Okay, so I am going to start with our largest decal first, the one that is for this larger amber glass bottle, because that is the one that's different. I want to go ahead and get that one out of the way and then go ahead and get started on all the others that are identical. Alright, so we have our first one out of the way. Now I'm going to go ahead and get started on the other smaller ones. Another thing that I really love about this Oracal 651 permanent vinyl, besides it being super affordable, is that how nicely it weeds. Like, it weeds like magic. I mean, there's no denying that. I am all finished weeding out my designs, so what I'm doing now is applying my transfer tape. And what I'm using as transfer tape is this masking tape transfer tape from shopauntietay.com. I don't know of anybody who does not love this stuff. I am personally obsessed. This transfer tape works like magic. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, I love it. I'm obsessed. And watch this. Like, this is how easy it is. Like, I just grab off as much as I need for my specific design, and I can literally just rip it off. Just like that. Like, so simple, so easy. I mean, what's there not to love, right? Okay, so I only need about that much right there. So I'm just gonna apply it over one of these decals. I'm just gonna grab one of my scraper tools and then just really burnish over top of this decal. And really watch just how easy it is for this transfer tape to pick up this Oracal 651 permanent vinyl. I mean, again, it's like magic. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so I'm just gonna reach over here and grab one of my amber glass dispensers, and I'm gonna wipe down the outside of it with some isopropyl alcohol. And wiping this down with rubbing alcohol really removes any kind of oil, dirt, grease, grime, anything on that surface that's going to prohibit your vinyl from applying as smoothly as possible. It really just allows your vinyl to grip that surface tight, which is exactly what you're wanting when applying a decal, right? Okay, so once we have that little middle section applied, what I like to do is just kind of pull out one of these scraper tools and then just slowly push down the rest of that vinyl. And whenever removing your transfer tape, I like to go really, really slow and pull at a very, very sharp angle. I love, love, love this. Now I am not throwing out this transfer tape because I'm going to reuse it for as many decals as I can. Alright you all, so for our next project, which I am so excited about, we are taking these Dollar Tree serving trays and I'm going to turn one of them into a wash your hands sign for the bathroom, and we're going to take the other one and turn it into a little tray next to our sink that's going to hold our hand soap. But of course, first things first, what I'm going to do is stick these outside right now and spray paint them black. Alright, so here we are with our painted serving trays. Now what we need to do is actually measure the inside lip of this serving tray to figure out how big we can make our design in Cricut Design Space. So I am just grabbing my measuring tape right here and we'll see what we have to play around with. Alright, so we are looking at right at 9¼ inches for the height, and as far as the width, we're looking at right at 5¾ of an inch. Alright, so here in Cricut Design Space, the first thing that I want to do is to create somewhat of a template for our designs so we know exactly how big to make our designs. And to do that, what I'm going to be doing is coming over here to the left hand side of the page and clicking on Shapes, and I'm going to open up a square. Now just like earlier, we don't want the square to stay a square, so I'm going to come up here towards the top of the canvas, unlock this little padlock which is locking in those proportions. And so I'm going to come over here to width and type in 5.75 for 5¾ of an inch wide. And for height, I'm going to type in 9.25. Click enter, and I can go ahead and lock that little padlock back. Since we are making two trays, I'm going to go ahead and save myself some work by right clicking this rectangle and then just scrolling down here and clicking on duplicate. I can go ahead and drag that off here to the side. Now all we need is our designs, right? And for those, what I'm going to do is head over to Untitled.com. I'm going to click on SVGs and cut files. I'm going to scroll down just a little bit and click on fonts. And I'm going to scroll down just a little bit and click on installed fonts right here. I want to click on the image above where it says installed fonts. Now a little earlier in today's video, I was explaining a little bit about dingbats and what they are. They're basically a type of font that portrays itself as an image. And the great thing for us is that we can actually use those images as cut files in Cricut Design Space. So what I want to do is scroll down just a little bit because I have a specific dingbat font in mind that I'm wanting to use today. And here it is right here, this House Ethnic Dingbat. I'm going to just click on that. And then what I can do is come up here towards the top right hand corner of that screen, click on this little download icon. And once you do that, you can then select this direct download option right here. Now I am on a Mac, so this may look a little bit different if you're on a PC, but what I want to be doing is coming down here towards the bottom left hand corner and clicking this right here. Now since that's open, what I want to do is click on Install Font. If you had Cricut Design Space up and running when you downloaded that font, what you'll most likely need to do is actually close out and quit Cricut Design Space and then relaunch it. Once you do that, Cricut will then go through and refresh all of its fonts and then we'll add in those new fonts that you just downloaded. So what I'm going to do is come over here to the left hand side of the page and click on text. And just for an illustration for all of you guys at home, what I want to do is just type in the entire alphabet really. Okay, so now that I have all that typed out for some options, what I'm doing is coming up here towards the top left hand corner of the canvas, clicking on font, and if system is not already selected for you, go ahead and select that now. And then right here in that search bar, I can go ahead and type in House, H-A-U-S, and here is that font right here, or that dingbat right here. And as you can see, here are all of our options that we can kind of go through and decide what we want to be our design. Now I do already have one in mind that I'm wanting to use today. So what I'm going to do is double click this text box. I'm going to clear all this out and then just type in W. And here is the image or the dingbat that I'm wanting to use for one of our projects at least. I'm going to grab this resize handle right here. Just make this a whole lot larger, just like that. Okay, so what I'm trying to accomplish here, what I'm trying to do is make sure that these columns right here are on each side of our template. I want that to be like the border or the edge of our template. So all I need to do is just kind of mess around with the proportions, just keep resizing until I can get it right. Okay, so that looks good. Now what I want to do is actually click and drag over both the rectangle and our design or our dingbat. And when I come up here towards the top of the canvas where it says align, and then just scroll down here and select center. Now, while both of those elements are still selected, I'm going to come down here towards the bottom right hand corner. I'm going to select slice, and that is slicing out our image to be the exact size that we need for our serving tray. So I can kind of move this out of the way. I can click on delete. And this design right here is what we are wanting to make for our decal. So this other option right here, which was our template, I'm gonna go ahead and click this red X, or you could just click delete, it doesn't matter. So there is our first design. Now for our second one. Okay, so for this design, we are gonna do this just a little bit differently. What I'm gonna do, since this is selected, is come up here towards the top left-hand corner to this little color swatch, and I'm gonna change that to white. And now I'm gonna go back over to AuntieTay.com and download an SVG for this. So I am gonna head over to AuntieTay.com, and I'm gonna click right here where it says SVGs and cut files. Scroll down here and select SVGs, and then just scroll right down here and click on Home Signs. And as you can see right here, this is the SVG file that we're gonna use. Okay, so now here we are back in Cricut Design Space, and what I'm gonna do is come over here to the left-hand side of the screen and click on Upload. Then I wanna select Upload Image, and then Browse. And I am going to select this Wash Your Hands SVG right here. Okay, so there is our image. Now what I'm going to do is come down here towards the bottom right hand corner, click on Save. And here is our image right here under our recently uploaded images. So there it is saved there, but we want to take it one step further and actually add it over to our canvas. So I'm going to select it, and you can tell that it's selected by this green box that's around that image now. Now what I want to do is come down here towards the bottom right hand corner and select Insert Images. Alright, so here is our image right here. Now before I drag that over here on top of our template, what I want to do is actually change the orientation of that template. I want to take it from portrait to landscape. Now to do that, you can do it one of two ways. What we did earlier was just click on our template, and then we can grab this little rotation tool right here and do it that way. Or you can click on it and then come up here towards the top of the canvas where it says rotate. You can type in 90 for rotating it 90 degrees. Click enter, and there you go. Now I'm just gonna come over here and click on our image and then drag it over here on top of our template. Now what I want to do is actually resize this image to be the exact size I want it to be on my sign. Now a great way to figure this out instead of kind of guessing at it is just making one of these templates like we did today. And this really becomes like a digital representation of what your end project is going to look like. So since this is the exact dimensions of what the base of our tray is, what I can now do is just grab this little resize tool at the bottom right hand corner of our image and then just resize it accordingly. And there we go. Now I know that I've been referencing this little back section right here as a template, but what I think we're actually going to do is use it as part of our design. I'm actually going to cut this out as a large white rectangle, lay it onto the base of our serving tray, and then I'm going to cut out this design right here in black and layer that on top of it. Now as far as this design over here goes, I'm going to go ahead and change the color of this to white. Now I'm going to come up here towards the top right hand corner and select Make It. And now we're just going to load our vinyl onto our cutting mat. Alright, so now let's put these on our trays. Let's start out with making this wash your hand sign. So what I'm going to do is actually just peel off this piece, this rectangular piece of white vinyl, just like you would a sticker, and apply it that way. Okay, so now that we have this applied to our serving tray, what we're doing now is taking this other type of transfer tape from shop.AuntieTay.com. This is a clear grid line type of transfer tape that you are able to see through. And since we are layering this decal on top of this, I definitely want to be able to see through the transfer tape. Another good thing to know about this is that you can use the same exact piece over and over and over. And what was once a Dollar Tree serving tray is now a super cute sign for your bathroom. I am obsessed with this, you guys. Like, I absolutely love this. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you liked it or if you learned something new, please be sure that you stamp that like button before you go, as well as drop a comment down in the comment section below. That really helps us out. And honestly, I just really look forward to going through and reading all the comments and responding to each of you all individually. If you're new around here to Auntie Tay's channel, be sure that you stamp that subscribe button before you go. And also, if you'd like to see more extreme Cricut makeovers, then be sure to head over to my channel and subscribe there as well. I would love to have you. Just simply search for Mr. Crafty Pants Cricut tutorials here on YouTube, or click that link down in the description box below. Thank you again for watching today's video. I am so grateful for each and every single one of you all. And until next time, stay crafty.